The STEM Society.
Welcome back to the STEM Society. My name is Cole Jackson. This is your weekly album check-in. This week, I have two reviews for you guys. I'm doing the Black British music from Jim Legxacy, and I'm trying to figure out why there's so much hype behind this album. People are already saying that this is album of the year. I'm going to test that theory by giving you my review. I'm also going to get into the Tyler, the Creator album, Don't Type the Glass. This is a really early review. I've listened to it a few times. I've gotten to sit with it. I'm going to give you guys some of my thoughts, and yeah, I'm going to give you a final verdict on that. Let's start everything off with the Jim Legxacy review. Jim Legxacy's newest album, Black British Music, is 15 tracks, 35 minutes long. This was a good listen the first time I listened to it. I understood the emotion that came from it. I understood the musicality. A lot of that came from me actually watching an interview from him before I actually listened to the album. So I kind of knew what I was going to get into before I got into it. One of the cool things about this album as well is he's from Lewisham. Now, I am an American that's actually been here in the UK or been in London for a year, and I live in Lewisham. So it was an instant connection after I seen that interview and I heard his first single that he dropped called Father. So I already was looking at this like I gotta support the home team. I gotta make sure that I support this kid because he seems like a very cool talent. So I found out that this is his first. This is his label debut on the XL record label. XL is an independent record label here in the UK. And they have a nice little roster of talent right now. Now, you can tell he was going for something different, and you can tell XL took the handcuffs off of him. When I usually say take the handcuffs, that means he's got the freedom to do what he wanted to on this album. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all off the rip. This album is not clean, and it's not very structured. But it's very much stitched together by his emotions. Like, this is like his Frankenstein's monster. It's like a whole lot of different emotions throughout here, and it goes on different kinds of up peaks and valleys. For a lot of times when I listen to albums, that's usually bad, but for this particular album, it's actually pretty good. Like it's a big trauma dump, but he's gone through homelessness. He's going through stuff with his family. Like he's going through a lot as a young kid. And this album is him actually being able to explain his story. He did a lot of production on this album as well, which also, I'm gonna give him points for that. Anytime somebody self-produced something, I'm giving them bonus points for doing that kind of stuff. And a lot of times when you get an artist who wants to self-produce and tell their own story, typically you're going to reel me in every time. Production-wise, Jim doesn't stick to just one sound. He goes all over the place from Afro beats to like alt-rap textures. He even has some live instrumentation on here, which to me makes it feel very much more organic than a lot of other albums that I've listened to this year. And it's got a lot of raw emotion. The production does have a lot of raw emotion to it when you hear it. Nothing is sequenced very well. I'll be honest with you. He sequenced this so crazy. It's one little 3-song run that's sequenced very well, which I'll get into later. But you can tell he's not trying to make hits. He's really trying to build a mood for this album. And a lot of artists forget that when you're making art or when you're making an album, it doesn't have to always be about selling the album. And I think that's the biggest difference between being under an independent label and being under a label that's like a major. Getting the freedom to just do what you want to do and spill your guts if you have to, and letting it all out on your art or your music. We lose that a lot of time when it comes to artistry and when it comes to music. And I love the fact that he reeled it in and he did it the way he wanted to do it. So before I finished up getting this review done and kind of go over my notes and everything, I read some reviews from other critics. And a lot of people are comparing Black British music to early Frank Ocean. And not because of how it sounds, but because how bold and how personal the album can be. And I was like, you know what? Like early Frank Ocean was super out there and it was bold and he was really trying to tell his story, even though later on when he finally came out, we knew the full story. But I could see how people could compare that how that can be similar to each other, and it makes a whole lot more sense. At first, I was like, nah, y'all tripping. But The more I think about it, the more I go back and listen to early Frank, it makes a whole lot more sense. He takes a lot of risk on this album, and some of it works and some of it doesn't work, but it all feels intentional. There's some parts of the production that'll make you sit up there and think about what the fuck is going on with your life, but there's other parts of the production where it makes you want to bob your head and kind of get it. And there's other parts of the production that solely focuses more on the lyrical stuff that he's going through and him and whoever the feature is. So it's a lot of range on here. And that's what makes the project a lot different, and it hits a whole lot more different. Again, I would love it a whole lot more if it was structured better, but this ain't my story to tell. This is his story to tell, so I guess I have to give it a little bit more grace. And I understand. Sometimes people have their artistic vision of what they want to put out there to the world, and they don't really care how we receive it. Just know that the story is being told. And I got to respect that from Jim. It makes a whole lot more sense. Jim has a few themes on here, but one of the ones that sticks out the most is the issues that he had with his father coming up. I related to that more because I had problems with my dad. Me and my dad we not the coolest people in the world. We don't get along like that. And he really has a couple songs where he focuses in on what happened between him and his dad. And I get it. Like on issues of trust, like he never really outright says what his dad did, but you can tell from the production, you can tell by how strong the song is, like the hurt is buried in there. It really is. But then it's crazy because the follow-up song, which is Father, and that was the first single off the album, is way more upbeat. And it really tells a story about him still loving his dad, even though they've been through all so much hurt and pain. And I was like, damn, that's the same thing for me. Like, even though me and my father has gone through what we've gone through, I still love him. He's still my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to sit up here and just throw him away. And then the third song in this like 3-track run is DBAB. And it feels like he's getting into a new conflict. And this time it's with a woman that he's dealing with who doesn't want him to be himself. And it's really like, damn, I just got into this whole situation with my dad and how I have these strong feelings about him. And then I come to the realization that I love him. And now I got to deal with you. And now you don't want me to be who I am. And you trying to get into some bullshit with me and this stupid back and forth. And you can hear how the emotional tension is there. It's the 3-song run blends into each other so well. And the emotions that he goes through these 3 songs, it's heavy. It's real heavy, man. This whole album is very heavy. So I get what he was doing and I understand the tension. 2 songs that stand out on this album, and 2 of my favorite songs, I guess I could say. One is Tiger Driver 91. Now that sounds real similar to Will Ospreay's finishing move. I don't know if that is or not. I don't know if he meant it to be that way, but that's what it sounds like. I also like this song because this is a song of reflection. It's like him overcoming a lot of hardship to get to where he is now, and his reflecting on that. And it really, he's kind of torn. And that's what I took from the song. And I think it's just it's just one of the best songs on this album. My other favorite song on here is 3 Times featuring Dave. I love the production on here. I love the fact that they took a snippet from Skepta's song, That's Not Me. Jim is actually in rhyming mode on here, which anytime you're going to get on a song with Dave, you got to get into your rhyme bag because Dave's pen is something serious. But Jim is going hard on his rhyming as well. I think he talks more about classism in this song. And if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. That's what I took from it. It felt like he was talking about classism. I could be wrong, but he was really getting into his bag on this one. And the Dave feature, what more can I say about Dave that everybody else doesn't already say? The pen game is crazy. I love the fact that he referenced his sister on here. If you guys don't know what happened to Jim Legxacy's sister, make sure you go to it, watch one of his interviews and get a better understanding. It's not for me to tell, but just go watch it. You'll understand. But I love the fact that Dave's on here and they both killed this song. He did drop this as a single right, I think the day that the album dropped, and it just works. Everything on here works. Dave, if you're watching this, when we getting this album too, by the way, you out here doing some features here and there, we're looking for an album from Dave. I really wish you would drop something. There's one song on here that is a complete skip that I just cannot connect with. It is Wayne Rooney. The punk pop vibe on here, it just didn't pull me in. He even has like a whole chorus that sounds a lot really close to Andre 3000's Hey Ya. I just I don't know, man. The song just didn't work for me. Even though a lot of the album is very unstructured, this song is just way too disjointed for me to be able to fuck with. So I just couldn't do it at all. In my opinion, Jim Legxacy is carving out a bigger space for expression. So you don't have to feel boxed in to have to do grime or drill. Like he's really doing a lot of this stuff his way. And that's another reason why this album keeps pulling me in. I've gone through this album several times and I keep catching new things here and there. And that just goes to show that when artists have freedom to be able to put stuff together and to be able to make what they want, that means that they're going to put all these little nuggets here and there. It's a lot of I've read this post where it's a lot of stuff that I missed in the album, and he's doing callbacks to a lot of different things. But that's what happens when you give artists freedom. And I wish more labels would do that. And I wish more artists took control of their art and actually did that outside of being told that, or actually people having to come at them and say, your stuff is trash. Artists shouldn't have to be tied to numbers all the time. I think you should actually have at least one album where you have the freedom to say or do whatever the hell you want to do and be able to get your message out the best way you possibly can. So bottom line, this is a solid drop. It's a bold album. It's emotional. It's honest. Jim is in the UK rap conversation this year, but we need to slow down with the album of the year talk. I am still going to hold a spot for Little Simz Lotus as being the best drop that came out this year. Jim Legxacy's album is great, but it ain't Lotus, and I don't know if anything will be Lotus this year. I'm super proud of Jim Legxacy being able to get this out here. I'm glad that he's out here telling his story, and I hope more people take time out to listen to it. So if you haven't listened to Black British music yet, go out to your phones and make sure you stream it. It's on all streaming platforms. If you guys have made it this far into the video, I have a question for you. Why aren't you subscribed? 70% of the people who watch these videos aren't subscribed. You should be a subscriber if you like this kind of content. If you like me ranting and raving about music news, if you like my music critiques, the only logical step to do is to subscribe to the channel. So make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys get notifications of when I drop a new episode. And make sure you guys are giving me comments. I love interactions. I want to start doing Twitter Spaces, but if I can't get the comment section jumping off, how am I supposed to get a Twitter Spaces jumping off? So with all that being said, guys, make sure you're supporting me by just hitting subscribe, giving me a comment, and giving me a like. Let's get back into the show. Tyler Creator dropped Don't Tap the Glass, 10 tracks, 28 minutes long. This is his dance album. That's right. Tyler the Creator decided to drop a dance album. This is not Honestly Nevermind. Let's put that to the side. I've already seen people comparing this to Honestly Nevermind. That's not what it is. Tyler put out this really cool message before or after the album dropped where he was telling us he wanted people to get off their phones and on their feet. He wants people to dance. And I like that. I like the fact that Tyler's like, yo, we are too cool out here. We're not getting into any kind of dance moves. We look like fucking cornballs. Let's start dancing again. And I gotta be honest with you, I want to dance. Fuck it. I am from the era of dancing in the club, not sitting up on your phone, not having a section. I am from the era of dancing in the club. So did Tyler make me dance on this album? So on the sound and production side of things, our first listen, the album again gave me this loud, wild energy of an N.E.R.D album. Like it really just felt like he talked to Pharrell and Pharrell was like, all right, you do this, if you do that, you do this, touch this here. And it's just like, all right, this is what the Neptunes was doing back in the day when y'all was just like N.E.R.D. Cool. When you get to track 7, he takes this full shift into Jermaine Dupri land. It really does sound like early 2000s, late 90s, Atlanta club music. Like it's just like we don't get a lot of lyrics, we don't get a lot of him talking about shit. It's just it sounds like he heard My Boo and was like, I'm gonna make my version of My Boo, and just everything off of the So Def All Stars album. It really does, which is cool. To me, that justifies the short runtime. I think he really wasn't trying to go for a masterpiece. He was really trying to make us dance. And I feel you. We got into a groove. I personally got into a groove on this album. I personally was like, because I can't do the car test because I don't have a car here in the UK. So of course I have to do the headphone test. I got some great headphones. So of course I'm doing the headphone test and I'm bobbing my head, and then I found myself doing a little back and forth and a little bit, okay. Like he had me moving. And that's something that I haven't done with a lot of albums here recently. I'm either selling coke or I'm usually drill, or I'm usually on some kind of mission or something like that. I'm trying to better my life, like Larry June. I have yet to have sit down and just kind of like move with an album, and this album forcefully makes you want to dance. It just goes to the genius of who Tyler the Creator is and how much he loves music. I think a lot of time when Tyler drops albums, we forget that he is a lover of music. He is one of those guys who knows the history of music, who understands really good rap and understands, like, I know what I used to listen to make me move. And if he didn't know, he looked it up. He's a music nerd, and that's exactly why I love when he drops projects on a regular basis. I broke this album down into 3 phases. There's the Pharrell inspired phase with songs like Big Poe, Sugar on My Tongue, Sucker Free, and Mama Them. And then we move into more of the Southern club chaos stuff with Stop Playing With Me, with Ring, 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 Don't Tap the Glass, Don't Worry, Don't You Worry, Baby, and I'll Take Care of You. And then on phase 3, it's just one song, which is the quiet confession of Tell Me What It Is. This is where I completely don't understand what Tyler was doing when he made this song. Tyler sits up here and gives us this full high energy album, and then we get to Tell Me What It Is, and he completely slows this album down, and it talks about struggling with love. And I get it. You're trying to give us a personal note on this album. You're trying to say, well, let me give y'all some lyrics. Let me give y'all a little bit of what's going on in my life. To be honest with you, that brought the album down. I hated that song. I hated that was the way the album ended. I really wanted to end on a very high note. I wish he was smart enough, not smart enough, but I wish he would have taken out the time to say, to end it on a really high note. So if you wanted to replay this whole album back over again, it was just one complete circle, like one complete loop. And we could just have a loop of 10 songs that you could just listen to and dance to and have the energy that he was trying to put out. But ended it on Tell Me What It Is just really fucked me up. I hate that song. It just really kills the whole tone and the momentum of the album. I love the fact that Tyler wanted to embrace more of a regional sound. Like, this does sound like he got a lot of information from Atlanta and Virginia and stuff like that. Like, it really does sound like he wanted to give us a lot of music that's going to make us dance. There's really no concept to this album, which, again, he warned us. He was like, yo, lower your expectations. There's no big concept to this. It's just an album. I want you to just enjoy the music. And I got to be honest with you, it worked. For me, it worked. I didn't really have to sit down and try to figure out lyrics, or I didn't have to figure out 2 or 3 different meanings to different songs or what was really going on. I could really just relax my brain, sit back, and actually just enjoy what he gave us. And he gave us a lot of heavy bass lines. He gave us a lot of great instrumentation. He gave us some synth vibes. Like, he just gave us a lot in 10 tracks. And that was cool for a change. Like, just coming off the Clips album and still trying to break down all of these different lyrics and try to break down what the entendres means and stuff like that. Like, it's cool for a certain time, but then when you get to a point where you're just like, I want my brain to relax some, you go to albums like this. And I think there's so much discourse on social media because there's no meaning to the album, and I think that's what pisses a lot of people off. There's no rhyme or reason to this album. It really isn't. It's just, I want y'all to dance. Here's my dance album. I respect it. I respect that so much. But people are so up in arms because they can't break down lyrics or they can't sell crack on here, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you need a little bit of junk food to be able to relax. We can't all be superly overly stimulated all the time. So for that, I really respect Tyler and his decision to make this album more of a dance album and more of just turning your brain off. So with all that being said, I have to give this a cool listen. Tyler's giving us a dance album, and that's just because he didn't really want to give us a project that was overly stimulating. I respect that. New music from Tyler is always a good thing because he's one of those artists that just respects music. And sometimes he'll sit in the studio and make some stuff and give it to us. And we can't be expecting a classic from him every time he gets in the studio. I love the fact that people can give us little one-off albums that's just a vibe or a feeling sometimes. Everything does not have to be so deep. Everything does not have to be so serious. Sometimes we just need some shit to blow off steam. There are a few beats and some ideas on here that need a little bit more focus. I think Mama Nem is one of them songs that I just could not fuck with. I was like, I don't get it. And the way he ended the album really left a bad taste in my mouth. But that's 2 songs out of all of the 10 that really brought the album down for me. But at the end of the day, it's still something that you should check out. It's still a great idea that Tyler had. A lot of these artists out here aren't coming up with ideas and just putting it out there to the masses. And he didn't have a super huge rollout. He just let us know that he was dropping something, and we got super excited. So I don't know if we put too much pressure on Tyler because of him dropping such major albums, or if it's because we just wanted to hear more intricate bars and entendres. But at the end of the day, this is still a solid listen. Go out and listen to it. Go out and dance, move your ass a little bit. It's on all these streaming platforms right now. So that's all I got for this week. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode. I will be dropping an episode on Sunday, and I'll be going over the major news that's happened this past week. Take care of yourselves. I love you. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.